Poetic Cinema Storytime, the block that stopped singing. Hello, my friends. My name is Vernon Snell. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. You know, we live in a world where everybody seems to be in a hurry. We're scrolling, we're rushing, we're chasing the next thing. But stories ask us to slow down. They ask us to listen. Not just with our ears, but with our imagination. Every time we meet, I'm going to share a different story with you. Some will make you smile. Some may make you laugh. Some may make you uncomfortable. Some may remind you of your own life. But every one of them comes from a place that's real. So tonight, I'd like to tell you a story. Not about statistics, not about headlines, not about politics. I'd like to tell you a story about a neighborhood that raised me, a neighborhood that taught me lessons long before I understood what those lessons meant. This story is called The Block That Stopped Singing. Before the block became a warning, it was a garden. Not the kind of garden hidden behind white fences with perfect flowers and quiet mornings. No, this was a concrete garden, a loud garden, a sidewalk garden, a Broadway garden, a 160th Street garden. The flowers didn't grow in soft soil. They pushed through cracks in the concrete. They grew beside fire escapes, corner stores, bus stops, hydrants, and apartment buildings that carried generations of memories. Every flower was different. Some spoke Spanish. Some spoke English. Some spoke both without even thinking about it. Every apartment carried its own smell. Coffee brewing before sunrise, rice and beans filling the hallways, fresh bread, perfume, cigarettes, summer heat rising from the sidewalks. You didn't have to close your eyes to know where you were. The neighborhood introduced itself before anyone ever spoke. And the block sang. Sometimes it sang through children laughing as they chased each other between parked cars. Sometimes it sang through mothers leaning out apartment windows, calling their children home before the streetlights came on. Sometimes it sang simply because another day had been survived. The old flowers watched from their windows. The young flowers ran through the streets. This was home. Then, something changed. Not all at once. Almost never does. At first, it arrived like excitement. It sounded like opportunity. It looked like easy money. People whispered about it. People smiled about it. People became curious about it. Nobody called it poison. That's the strange thing about poison. It rarely introduces itself honestly. It comes dressed as possibility. Little bags, folded paper, fast money, big dreams. Suddenly, the neighborhood started changing. Some flowers stood taller. Some flowers disappeared. Some flowers became people they no longer recognized. The music got louder, but something inside it became quieter. The laughter was still there, but it didn't sound the same. The money moved faster than anyone had ever seen. But peace quietly packed its bags and started leaving. Mothers began calling their children inside a little earlier. Windows closed before sunset. People started looking over their shoulders instead of looking into each other's eyes. The children didn't understand what was happening. Children never do. They don't understand words like addiction, or economics, or trafficking, or the war on drugs. Children understand something much simpler. They know when smiles disappear. They know when their favorite neighbor isn't sitting on the steps anymore. They know when grown-ups start whispering instead of laughing. They know when home begins to feel different. And that's exactly what happened. One afternoon, I looked up into the sky. The birds were gone. I don't know how long they'd been gone. I had simply never noticed before. The block was still full of people, still full of noise, still full of movement, but something inside it had become silent. That's when I realized the neighborhood was still making sound, but it had stopped singing. You know, people hear the words, war on drugs, and they usually think about crime. I don't. I think about childhood. I think about neighbors. I think about mothers. I think about fathers. I think about friends who never got the chance to grow old. This story isn't about judging anyone. It's about remembering. Because if we don't remember, we lose more than people. We lose neighborhoods. We lose culture. We lose laughter. We lose songs. And eventually, we lose the truth about what really happened. The story I shared with you tonight comes from my newest book, Concrete Flowers, the 160th Street Testimonies. It's a collection of stories inspired by the neighborhood that raised me, a place filled with beauty, pain, friendship, loss, and unforgettable people whose lives deserve to be remembered. Thank you for allowing me into your home, your phone, your headphones, wherever you happen to be listening today. It truly means more than you know. If this story stayed with you, I hope you'll join me again, because next time I'll tell you another story. I'm Vernon Snell. This is Poetic Cinema Storytime. Until next time, take care of your heart, and remember, every story deserves someone willing to listen.